Welcome to the Systems Thinkers Show, Season 6, Episode 51. Today, we are diving into a brand new playbook for leadership. This is one that's all about moving past those empty slogans we see everywhere and getting into the real, nitty-gritty work of building cultures that actually perform.
Yeah, we've all heard this one, right? Peter Drucker's famous line. And it's a classic for a very good reason. It doesn't matter how brilliant your strategy is on paper, if your culture is broken, it's going to chew that strategy up and spit it right out. It's a fundamental truth.
But here's the twist, and this is the central question for today. What happens when the culture itself is just feeding on buzzwords? You know, when it's built on fluff instead of substance. That's where so many organizations get completely stuck. And before we dig in, I really have to say a huge thank you. We have listeners in 47 countries now, plus so many students from China who are tuning in from our case study website. Your support means the world to us.
Now, speaking of support, I want to show you something. That gap you see here? It shows that less than 23% of you who listen regularly are actually subscribed or following. So, here's a quick ask. If you're getting value from this, please take 2 seconds and hit that subscribe or follow button. And maybe even share this with 10 friends or business associates. It genuinely helps us with the streaming algorithms so we can keep bringing you these best-in-class business insights. It really does make a difference.
Okay, so let's get to the heart of the problem with so much of modern leadership. It's this total reliance on feel-good slogans that, frankly, don't change a single thing on the ground.
I mean, you've seen them all. They look great on a poster in the break room, right? People over process, empower your teams, fail fast, learn faster. They sound amazing, but way too often they're just words. They don't actually show up in the daily decisions and behaviors that drive real results.
And this right here is the whole point. The real work, the hard work. It happens in the routines you build. It happens in the systems you design. It's the difference between just saying what you believe in and building a structure that actually makes those ideals a reality every single day. And that's the core idea behind this new playbook.
So, if slogans are the problem, then what in the world is the solution? Well, it's a fundamental shift in how you think. It's about building a real framework that turns your good intentions into concrete action.
This whole approach is really built on 2 core pillars. First, you've got culture by design. Think of this like the architecture of your team. It's about intentionally engineering the systems and routines for how you operate. Then you have power by discipline. This is where we get into the human element, understanding the real-world power dynamics in your organization and, crucially, using that knowledge responsibly.
A huge concept here is the Management Operating System, or MOS. The best way to think about it is as the engine for your culture. This isn't some dusty mission statement on a plaque. No, this is the daily meetings, the visual scoreboards, the standard processes that make your goals tangible and your progress impossible to ignore.
All right, so that all sounds great in theory, but how does it actually translate into a practical playbook that a leader can use tomorrow? Well, it's all about how you apply these ideas.
Now, I know what you're thinking. Crush your enemy totally? That sounds pretty intense for a leadership playbook, doesn't it? It's from Robert Greene's The 48 Laws of Power. And yeah, it's provocative. But the way this idea is applied here is what makes this whole approach so powerful and unique.
See, the key is to completely reframe what an enemy is. In this context, the enemy isn't a person. It's not a competitor. The enemy is the systemic stuff that's killing your organization's success. It's those divisive little subcultures, those ancient, inefficient processes, those information silos. Those are the enemies that you have to address decisively.
And this quote from the author, Lanier Johnson, just nails the solution. The goal isn't aggression, it's superior design. A well-built system, a good MOS, it doesn't wait for problems to fester and become enemies. It acts like an immune system. It proactively finds and corrects dysfunction as just part of its normal, everyday operation.
And look, this isn't just a nice idea. It delivers real, measurable results. A case study on a company called Vulcan Tech showed a 31% increase in project throughput. That's huge. And how'd they do it? They shifted from a culture based on personal loyalty, politics, to one of leadership neutrality, where decisions were based on data and the system's goals. That's the power of design over default.
But here's the thing. These aren't just cold, abstract systems. They're actually rooted in some very deep human principles that come from a really personal place.
Which brings up a really interesting question, one the author asks himself.
Why would a book about business systems and power dynamics start with a story about his father? The answer is because these principles, they weren't learned in a boardroom. They started at home. This is the author, Lanier Johnson, with his father, who everyone called Pops. He was the original source of these powerful leadership lessons. And it's really fitting that the new book we're talking about is being released on February 10th as a tribute on his father's birthday.
I mean, just look at these lessons from Pops. Use tools and power carefully. Respect people. Hold yourself to a standard that makes your name worth carrying. These are the very foundation of this entire work. They're core human values that have been scaled up into an operating system for any organization.
And these incredible scaled-up principles form the very basis of the new playbook we're announcing today, Culture by Design, Power by Discipline, Volume 2, which will be available everywhere on February 10th, 2026.
Now, this new release doesn't stand alone. It's actually the capstone that completes a powerful three-part series for leaders. It starts with Shift Happens, then Culture by Design Volume 1, and this new Volume 2 brings it all together. All 3 books are available at Amazon and other online bookstores in the United States, the UK, Canada, Europe, Japan, and Australia. We wanted to make these ideas as accessible as possible, so you can just scan these codes right on your screen to order the book on Amazon or to get it on Audible.
And for those of you who want to go even deeper and explore the tools and frameworks behind all this, you can find a ton of additional resources on the website. Just visit www.karasinnovations.com.
And there's an entire ecosystem of content out there for you to explore. You can check out our other podcast, The Continuous Improvement Lab, and there are a lot of visual case studies over on our YouTube channel, Karas Innovations Group. And of course, a huge shout out and thank you to our executive producer and founder, Lanier Johnson. So, after all of this, it really comes down to one essential choice that every leader has to make. Are you ready to stop chasing slogans and finally start leading by design?